The Karelian Isthmus Military Museum in Vyborg is one of the key museums dedicated to the Soviet-Finnish Wars, 1939 to 1944. Founded on July 26, 2013 by historian Bair Irincheev, the museum is located on the territory of the Central Barracks at 26 Krepostnaya Street. The museum displays collections of photographs, historical documents, samples of military uniforms, and finds from battlefields. A special feature of the museum is the opportunity to try on military uniforms and handle weapon models. The museum also conducts excursions to memorable places of the war. History of the Soviet-Finnish War of 1939 to 1944. The Soviet-Finnish War of 1939 to 1944 consisted of two stages: the Winter War, 1939-1940, and the continuation of the conflict during the Great Patriotic War, 1941 to 1944. Winter War, 1939-1940. The war began on November 30, 1939, after the USSR presented Finland with an ultimatum to hand over border territories for the security of Leningrad. Finland refused to cede the lands, and on November 30th, Soviet troops invaded Finland. The pretext for the outbreak of the war was the so-called Mainila incident on November 26, 1939, when the Soviet side accused Finnish artillery of shelling Soviet territory, which Finland denied. The war was bloody and lasted 105 days. Despite the numerical superiority of the USSR, the Finnish troops put up stubborn resistance, using their knowledge of the terrain and winter conditions. On March 12, 1940, the Moscow Peace Treaty was signed, according to which Finland ceded about 10% of its territory to the USSR, including the Karelian Isthmus, but retained sovereignty. The losses of both sides were significant. Finland lost about 100,000 people, the USSR more than 390,000, including significant losses from frostbite and unpreparedness for winter conditions. Soviet-Finnish War 1941 to 1944 Continuation War. The second phase of the conflict began on June 25, 1941, when Finland entered the war on the side of the Axis countries with the goal of regaining lost territories and expanding its borders. The war took place on the territory of Finland and Soviet regions, including the Karelo-Finnish SSR and the Leningrad region. In 1944, the USSR won, which led to the signing of the Moscow Armistice, under which Finland again lost some territory and declared war on Germany. Thus, the Soviet-Finnish War was a complex and multifaceted conflict that began due to territorial disputes and security issues in the USSR, and continued in the context of World War II.